Oh, I have no idea. uh, I just grabbed some stuff and I was kind of like, I still was kind of sick. But it's like, let's do a little live and hang out for a minute. Like trying to get my bearings. I was thinking of doing like almost like a cotton candy jig, like coho jig, like a small or smaller version. It's just like, kind of your stomach gets a little funny, you know. You eat something and you're like, ugh. Something just kind of rubs you the wrong way. It's like, ugh. It's like tasted good going down. Yeah, I guess I sit and talk and hang. Uh, what one did which was I on the fly tying one or was I on the other one? Which okay, because I know I talked to a few people on Reddit, and then I know I had one person like get after me about something I tied, and he was like, "If you're gonna try to sell those, you know, people get with these fly tying things and fishing and YouTube. It can be kind of like a little gang. YouTube gotta be like a little gang kind of sometimes, and a little weird stuff goes on. It's kind of funny sometimes. It can be kind of funny, and then it can be fun too. There's good people out there too. Oh, so it was probably a while ago then, some time ago. Yeah, I've been just tying like short videos and haven't been doing any lives or anything. Well, actually, yeah, because I did like a bass jig. I was gonna do like live, but I was like, this is like kind of like experimenting. So it's like I just videoed it. But this is actually kind of experimenting too. I never tied one this color, so I might mess up. I might not. I don't know. Jose, hey man. Yeah, I think I probably on that because sometimes I go on there and I check out what people are doing and other stuff that goes on. That's why it says jack of all trades because I've experienced a lot of stuff besides the fishing world, like all of us. But there's a lot of stuff out here. Some stuff is, like it says on the title, there's some stuff that's under illusion, and some of us are still in it. Some of us aren't. Some of us are there. Some of us are in it. They're in it. They're not in it, but they're rich. Some of us are not in it, but we're poor. It's just there's a lot to this stuff. But fishing is simplicity, I guess, and being able to laugh with people and hang out. Sometimes that's one of the most human and simple things you can do in a world that's full of deceptions and greed and everything else going on in this world. Thanks, Jose. Yeah, I made those. I made a couple of them, and I made that partridge. Actually, it's laying right over here. You can see I made that partridge. Yeah, now it's focusing on it. Yeah, and I made that partridge like variant on the little hyper speed. I was gonna do the next one. I'm actually gonna do is I'm just gonna do a one like that, but I'm just gonna do a March Brown. What do you call it? March Brown spider. March brown spreader. Now what do we do? Decisions. So this is the thing, the color of this. So we got our colors. So there's your cotton candy colors right there. So I'm just trying to, I'm like, should I? Yeah, we'll just do. Yeah, we'll just do like simple cotton candy, like marble jig, I guess. That's what we okay. I haven't tied none in this color, in this in this style before, so it's like, what is what doing? These are the, I think I'll make it. And I'll just do the tail all. Yeah, that's good. I'll just do 3. I'll just do 3. But it's kind of like a, this is going to be like a coho jig basically. But you never know, could catch something else. It's kind of a coho color, but I'm going to do it in marabou. I'm going to do it like in the marabou and the chenille. Oh, my feather fell. Look at that over here. And I'm going to do like blue on it. And I'm trying to think. Because I'm just making it up right now. Because I'm like in my mind, I'm like, do I want to do? Well, let's just do the tail first. We'll just get the tail in, and then we'll decide what the heck the rest is gonna happen. Just decide what else is gonna happen with this thing. And someone was asking me, when are you gonna start selling the things? I was like, I don't know. I said, I'm still just I'm indecisive on that. I'm like, I want to, but I'm still kind of like, I want to, but there's there's things to that. And I was like, maybe I'll do it like where it's like for the channel type of thing, so you like people can just like it's more like, hey, I like that one, can I have one of those? And then I just send you like one, or and then send it like in a shadow box or something, and you get one, and it's so you can like display it if you want, or you can fish it however you want. And if you want more than that, if you like it, then make it more or something like that. I was thinking maybe something like that. So then if people really like some of them or whatever, or enjoy getting them, they don't just they don't go. I don't get overrun because I'm only one person. So I don't get like overrun trying to tie up all this stuff. Because I remember, even though I didn't have to mass produce those, I had to make like a certain amount when I worked at this, like helped this guy with flies at this shop. And I just remember but I was younger, so I would sit there and just I'd be like, okay. And I just sit down and be like, all right, let's try like 20 of those. The same pattern just over and over and over and over and over. Sometimes it's kind of nice not to tie the same thing over and over and over again. And that's kind of what I've been doing. Almost not everything's the same over and over. It's just like they're different colors. It's like that was like tie the same thing, same color over and over. I need 30 of those. I need to fill my I need to fill my little fly thing for the customer type of thing. And so sometimes that's why it's kind of like, dang, do you want to, it sounds fun to make your own or do that. But sometimes it's like, do you want to do that? Once you start doing it, then you're like, I don't know if I want to do this. It's easier kind of when you just do it on your own accord. Like, you just kind of go at it on your own. sort of in a way. But in that case, it's like I need this many now. There's like a demand because he's like I'm almost out of those. So and it's this time of year, so I need those. So I have a little experience in that, but I was really a younger person at the time, and I was just like skipping around. Yeah, this will be great. And then after I started did it a couple times, I was like, man, there's like a whole thing to that. But sometimes, it's fun to you when you don't have to, when you're not doing it like that. It's funner. It's got it's more fun. You don't feel like you have to okay, I have to get you this many by, tomorrow. Or how many you need? 100. By when? And you gotta think like, can I do that? How many can I tie? And if I'm all day, and then if you have another job, ooh, look at that. Then what you gonna do? Yeah, think about that too. Some of these guys got other jobs. Right now, I do not, but this is probably the time to do it though, because I don't have other stuff in the way all the time. Don't have other things in the way, so I can sit and tie at almost any time I want. Almost any time. And then we're gonna do just the standard purple. We want purple because it's like, yeah, we want purple. Purple. Let's do it like this. Do purple. And thanks, Juicebox, if you're still here, for coming in and hanging out for a bit. Yeah, we're just going to be Marabou, though. If you look, if you're in here, I don't know if you're still in here, but I tied a bunch of there. If you can't see it, but let's see if I can grab a few. I'm getting, I'm starting to get overrun with jigs now. So slowly but surely, I'm getting overrun with all kind of pink salmon jigs now. So when the season comes, I should have a bunch by that time. We're a long way from the humpy run, salmon runs. So I'm probably just gonna keep tying until I got a bunch, and then I'm probably gonna be getting rid of them. Because I only need so many to fish with my own self. And I kind of want to start doing some bass jig stuff. Because March is not that far away. Oh. Ooh. Where'd that go? Yep. But if it's your first time in here, check out some of the other stuff, other jigs and flies I tied already. And I've just kind of been randomly deciding what trout flies I want to tie. I just kind of I'm gonna tie that. I'll just go look in my little fly book and I'm gonna tie a bunch of those. It's kind of I feel like tying those again. And then there's a few I'm like, oh yeah, I never really tied that one. It looks kind of cool, just to be fun to just tie it up. And it would be the first time for me tying a lot of them. It'd be the first time for me even tying them. I'm just I never had a need to tie that, but it'd be fun to tie it live for people to see. Purple crystal flash on this one, and then I'm gonna split these up kind of the one on this side. Some people with the marabou, they like to roll it around like palmer it actually around the hook, and that gives it that more like bigger volume. Me, I just like to put the tails in and like this and roll with it. Sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of, the way when you do it that way, it kind of looks more like a spay fly, and it looks really nice. And that's those big poofy jigs you see. They're like, it looks like it goes all the way up the marabou, goes all the way up it. They're pretty good for steelhead and stuff. But me, I was like, I've caught a lot of salmon with just simple putting a tail in it and not doing all that and trying to pick it out with a bobbin. I probably will do something like that eventually. It's just a good skill to have if you're tying. It's a good skill to work on. You know, some people, try to be a rounded fly tyer, as they say. Some people are very much into that. Like, I have all the fly skill. I used to feel like that. Now I'm just like, if I mess up a little bit and it still looks good and it fishes and it catches, or it looks good in the water and it catches fish, that's all that really matters. That's all that really matters. What up, Dean? That's the blue that I just tied. I made a video about it. It's been hanging over here because I was letting it dry. And it's the blue, like a blue. Like, usually I'd have I have one hanging it up over on the wall. I took off the pole. Actually, this is the one right here. Like, this is kind of like the standard bass jig. So, like, that'd be like a standard, see? So, if you look, very, very, in comparison, if you look, this is just hair, very in comparison. Those are the claw tails. The claw tails are basically they're this, but they're blue. But I could have made them brown or any other color, but I was just like, I'd just make them blue and have a little flash back there. I'm like, as long as it kind of moves like that with that motion, I'm sure, and it's got skirted legs. It's a little bit more like it actually kind of looks more like this looks more kind of like sway, like a chatterbait actually would be, because these are kind of long. These legs are a little softer than these ones, the way they are on here. So it'd probably swim more kind of like a chatterbait, but then it's got the round head, so you can really snap it. And then it's got a weed guard. I tied in its own weed guard, just to kind of have a little something to push the weeds out of the way. But where I'm going to be fishing it, at that time of year, the weeds are probably like 3 inches tall. It'll be too cold still. It'll probably be still too cold by the time I start fishing in that area. There's a couple areas I'm going to go to. So it probably won't even matter. To even have that weed guard, but it's that March technically. That's when it really starts going. But for me, for most people, that would be early. Most people waiting for the stocking to happen. But I start fishing for them in March. But I'm usually fishing wild trout, bit like power bait and but usually only I try to use, if I'm using power bait for them, those wild ones, I try to use those scented ones, the ones that are like the natural scented ones. So like the nymph smelling one, the rose smelling one, the cheese. Like I try to use those ones, and then I'll carry sometimes I carry sand shrimp, but most of the time, usually they hit night crawlers. Usually, most of half the time they'll hit night crawlers or flies or something. I've done that quite a few times. I've told a couple stories on a couple of my lives and videos about it, and I was like, how I sitting out there for days trying to go into that same spot days and days at a time, trying to catch these fish. I keep seeing them rising in the area, come to the surface, and I couldn't get them to bite. It just spent days out there. I was like weeks, and I was like, what is they biting? I got to figure this out. but they were wild fish, so they were being kind of picky, and they weren't just hitting anything. And I tried, I mean, I even tried spoon. I tried like little spoons and stuff too, and they just were like not having it. And then they hit a worm, so I was like, "What? Like a worm?" So it's just kind of worm always should work, right? I put a worm with a little scent on it, and that's what changed the whole scenario that day. Yeah, so it'll be like soon. There should be, if it, we're kind of in a cold spell right now, like because we got that snow. It was like we were having abnormal, kind of like a warmer winter, and then all of a sudden they're like snow's coming, and it just, and then the temperature just dropped, and then snow started coming down, and everybody starts driving crazy, acting like they never driven snow again. All of a sudden, I was like helping. I was like, I had to like walk down from where I'm at, where I live, and like, I was like, man, I'm trying to go to the store. It's in my SUV. I'm like, man, I'm trying to go to the store, man. Before it gets worse. And then I was like, you know what? I got 4-wheel drive. And I'm like, why are these people stuck here? Like, I don't understand. And then some of the people stuck there were the same people from the year, couple years before. I'm like, what? I was like, y'all came home at the same time, same channel when the weather's bad. Like, I don't understand that. And I was like, y'all here? I was like, y'all here on purpose? Let's just say that was an illusion I saw. I was like, these people are here on purpose. They must have knew I left the house or something. Yeah, those cold fronts. You know, sometimes I don't mind when they move in, when it's like spring, when we get into the mid spring, you know, later in spring, when it gets into spring or like in the summer. I love it when the cloud comes in, because usually that little rainstorm from when it's coming in, the biometric pressure drops and the fishing gets really good. And I've literally like just stayed out there, even in the, technically shouldn't stay out there in a thunderstorm. I have though before, because the place I was at was like had like this undercover thing. So I like threw the line out, and I was like, I can run to that undercover. And I just like left my line out and was fishing and got out from the rain. I was like, cool, I can get from under the rain. I'll just sit in this bench and like watch my pole, make sure it doesn't get yanked in the water. It looks pretty cool. It's got like a purpley blue like tail and Flashaboo in it. Yeah, it's that cold front kind of tore up everything. And it kind of, most fishermen aren't going to be out there in Washington unless they're diehard steelhead anglers or something in this kind of the weather we got. Because I went outside today. I just been kind of cooped up today, cooking and stuff in the house, and I was like, dang, it's pretty cold. Like, not to complain. It's winter. It should be cold. But I was just like, it's more colder than it was. It was just more colder than it was the previous 4 days. I was like, and it's just when it dropped, it just stayed that way. And I was like, yeah. I still have snow in the front of the house. We still got snow here, but it's all packed down from all the cars and stuff. It's just big snow bump, speed bump. Yeah, like that's actually that's like smallmouth over here around here. That's like I go on those days more than anything else, because I know if I go to a popular area, because I'll be fishing from shore most, unless there's some other things going on, but I'm organizing or hoping might fall into play. A stroke of luck, some other stuff might happen in the months down the road, but the smallmouth here, like when it gets like that, they go nuts. And I've gone into areas where I didn't see any fish all part of the summer, and then when that rain came, because it's been dry, there's smallmouth there. and I put my polarized glasses on. I'm like, oh, there's smallmouth just like suspending right here in this little dock area. Like, there's like a 3 pound one and a 4 pound one over there, like, and just walk and sight fish through there on a cloudy day and have a fun time and have it all to myself. Because some people don't want to be out there when it's raining like that, but it's gonna be difficult trying to. That might be kind of difficult trying to film alive with that unless I can kind of like get like a jerry rig, do some jerry rig something or get a GoPro or something. Get some. I have a waterproof camera, but it's hard to use it because it's how it records. It only records so much at a time, so that makes it kind of hard to, it'll cut off, and so that makes it hard to record anything. It has like a set time, and it's like, oh, do. Now you get to start filming again, and so that can be difficult because like while you hook something and it goes off and you're fighting some fish, and then you're like, I can't like press the button to turn it back on, because then I can edit it, and put it together, but it makes it kind of difficult. That particular camera, that's what I filmed, the one where I was at the river throwing spinners, and that's why I missed some of the footage of some of the stuff that was going on. And then like there were seals and stuff, and I got part of that footage, but then the camera like tried to like fall over. Like it was just like, this is like, because the way that camera works, it's just like, it's like, I kind of got footage of some fish at least jumping, like in the river. That's kind of cool. Not exactly what I want. I wanted a little bit better than that, but I was like, well, it's something. I just was like getting back into YouTube stuff because I had a channel before, and I was just kind of like, I just kind of got fed up with certain things about YouTube at the time. I was like, and there were certain individuals and things were going on. I was like, you know what? It's not worth it if it's going to stress you out, just to make some video clips and have a hopes of getting monetized. It was like, I could just go fishing and enjoy and not have to worry about it. And that's what I did that year. I'll go salmon fishing and whatever. And I just have pictures of the fish that I caught. I didn't have any footage of those fish. Well, I have footage of that one, but that was a couple seasons before. That was a couple seasons before. The pink salmon on there. And it's just after I pulled it out. And no, I have one of it fighting, but I took it down. I caught one. I have one of a fish fighting, but I took it down. I took that one down. I wanted to redo it because I had someone who came up here and I took them and then to a spot, and then I helped them film something a long time ago. And so the two videos may look very similar. I'll just say that. I'm not going to say who it is, but they know who they are. they're a known YouTuber. So there's a lot of YouTubers I met, and I was like fishing and stuff, and I just didn't. I just was like, oh, cool. Like, there's one video you can see my legs, and I'm salmon fishing. You can see my legs, and they're filming, and there's like the video. You can just see my legs, and I'm throwing a twitching jig, and they were drifting eggs. And one day I was like, I'm gonna go looking for that video, and I found it. There's my legs. There's me. Okay, that's there. And yeah, we're gonna put the little pink, little it's like cerise, fluorescent cerise, just like this to match it. Yeah, I wish I had blue for the tail, but I really don't. I'm thinking here. That would still work. We'll just do the blue on the body of it, because that's like a coho-y color. Blue. Let's see. These ones are kind of long. That's the only thing about these. I need to find a thin one. This one's kind of thin. This one looks good. Got a blue, but this is a different type of feather. It's like a lot softer, but I'm gonna wrap them together. So I can just throw something together because I want it kind of like a cotton candy kind of color to it, and see how it comes out. I'm gonna drop something. Ugh. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the YouTube streets. Mayor's Gigs. Hello, Mayor's Gigs. I see it. See you there. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that kind of goes on sometimes that just I'll just notice, and sometimes I'm just like, what the heck is that? Sometimes you experience stuff with dealing people too, like even though I'm tying this fly, like, and you meet new people or people you knew from the past, and you socialize, and you feel that thing where they're like talking about you without talking about you. They're not talking to you in front of you, but they have like this thing, underlying thing, like he doesn't know this, and you kind of know, you feel it, and you're like, oh, they're acting this way. Yeah, I've had some. That's kind of what's happened to me since I came back to YouTube. So, or I've been mocked and different things. It's just weird. It kind of makes you feel like a kid again, like back in high school again. But you gotta kind of ignore it when you're dealing with that, when you're seeing that kind of activity happen, and you have to kind of ignore that kind of thing. It's not really your fault that they're acting that way. There's other forces at play and principalities at play sometimes, and, and people will be themselves, and they will have a hang up with you for whatever reason. It's really strange, but not necessarily always bad. They're not going to talk about you negative to your face necessarily, but there's people who out here that, like, if you say something, you be in your own home, they'll relay that to that person, and oh, he said that, or it's really weird, and you'll be like, how did you get that information if I was in my house? And yeah, and let you know that there's entities listening to us, people listening to us and stuff. Obviously, but kind of puts you on alert because it's kind of like you kind of feel like it's an invasion of your privacy when that's happening, if it's interfering with your interpersonal relationships and stuff, or like even if you're just doing YouTube. It happens though. And honestly, me, I just like I speak on it because I know it happens to people all the time, and there's people who've been put in some really bad situations because of that, because they didn't realize what was happening to them. They're like, well, why did that person do that? And I'm like, this is why. So I'm gonna build this collar up a little bit because I don't want to have to make an extra wrap here. Too much of an extra wrap here. I even had someone start something in the chat one recently, and he was just trying to. He heard a conversation from another platform, and then tried to act like I was starting things in the chat or something, or like I did something on that platform, but he didn't know what it was. I emailed somebody who runs that channel, who owns that's their channel, and I asked them a question about something not even pertaining to fishing. It was like a totally different genre. And that person just for some reason felt like it was their duty to try to nose into whatever was being spoken about on that person's channel while they were doing their thing, and come to me on a different channel and say, well, you trying to cause problems, because the way that person talks on that channel is kind of aggressive. Like they have but I knew what the guy was saying because he was speaking in code. So I knew what he was talking about because I knew what I wrote in the email. But that person didn't know what I wrote in that email. So you're trying to start something, better not be starting things over here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, I know what you're talking about. You don't even know it was in that email. was like, are you my? It was just weird. I was like, are you my parent or something? Like, I asked for some advice, and that's what he was talking about, because he knew there was trolls on that channel, on his own channel and other channels, and so he was addressing that, and he was upset, kind of like aggressive about it, and he's like, I hope you're not. And I was like, I was just sitting in the chat, and I was like, no, I'm not me. Obviously, I wouldn't be sitting here, and if I was a troll and you were talking about me right now, I would have left their chat. It was kind of funny, and so when that guy came at me in a different chat, it was a fishing chat. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, you don't even know what I said. You don't even know what was discussed in this email. I was like, do you want me to send the email that I wrote, that my private email, to somebody else that was our conversation? I was like, that's weird. That was weird. That lets you know like how like this YouTube stuff can be sometimes. And I get kind of, that's what made me quit before. I got exhausted of that kind of behavior, and people going like, "Oh, I know about you," just all that weird stuff, because they got people spying, and, oh, what did he say? Oh, he said something. Oh, I'm gonna run over. It's like this is like little kid stuff. Like, if you want to say something to them, or you didn't like something they said, or just go to that person directly and be like, "Hey, man, I didn't like this." No, or, hey, that person, who that was between. That's what adults do, not, oh, you better not. Like, it's like, it's not even your channel that we're talking about. And he didn't even mod in that channel. It was just weird. I was like, I ain't never seen this. I was like, I wonder how old this person is. Like, I was like, I'm 41 years old. I tell myself that every time now, when something weird like that happens, and then someone tries to create some kind of something out of nothing, out of the air. I'm like, man, I'm this old. Like, that's not the business. We tying up jigs and lures, and, you know we grown folk. Everybody wants to be happy. Try to have some kind of happiness. The world's crazy enough. There's enough people getting hurt, broken down by others, ruined by others. We don't need more of it purposely being done just because you have an assumption of something. And that's what I know. And I understand that there's powers over some of these people they have to answer to, but they act like they don't answer to them. And they be trying to pretend like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, I think it's over with that kind of stuff these days. People are picking up on it. And it's ridiculous, because there's people getting really lives ruined because of that kind of behavior. And some people really get off on it and think it's funny because, like, oh, nobody knows. And it's like, nah, people are starting to people waking up. And some are frightened of it, and they're just gonna understand it, and they just go, I'm not messing with that, but don't bother me. And I'm kind of one of the ones like, yeah, I've had enough of that. I don't need to be bothered. I want to tie my lures. I want to be able to laugh with people and just have fun, because I've had enough negative. So it's like, it's time to smile. It's time to tie up the jigs and have fun, and meet people who want to be like-minded in that aspect. Even if they don't fish, they want to do it. They do it other types of YouTube. It's like, that's what we want. I'm like, that's the kind of energy I want around me. We're cooking a good meal. We're having fun. We're gonna talk about that stuff too and understand it. We can do that too. I've already been threatened with taking my life. I've already had it where something did happen to me. And I had someone else say something weird to me not that long ago. And I was just like, okay, I'm out of here. You're on some other thing, and it's okay. Like, I understand. No. I was like, I'm not doing that. It's like, you're a cool dude, cool person, but I'm just not doing it. I was like, I've done enough of that kind of behavior. Like, seeing that out of it. So see if we can get this kind of tied down. There, it's like, so it's gonna be like kind of like a pink cotton candy. Let's see if we can do this. I'm gonna peel it off. Oh, guess we're not gonna get it. Came off. See? You know what? I can do that. I'm gonna go backwards. We're gonna go backwards. We're not gonna. I don't have any glue there. See, anything can happen. That little piece wasn't tough enough. That's the only thing about when you tie them in backwards, tie them in that way, that's the softer end. So a little bit of pressure, snap. This one's pretty tough. Not so tough. They can snap so easy. So now I'm gonna undo this whole thing. And luckily I put extra wraps at the front. So see, that's not always perfect. It's not always perfect. And that's okay though, because see, I made extra wraps up here, so I should be able to tie it in. Yep. And when I first start tying, this used to happen sometimes too. It's okay because that's a pretty long feather. So we got to start that part all over, and we still got our chenille. And I'm not going to tie in a new piece and waste material. But see, anything can happen. Let's see, is it the same size, right? Who was that I was talking to? And let's see. Almost. I might have to get a different one maybe now because I pulled this back. Let's see what we can do. I'm gonna pull all this off. Yeah, I'm sitting there talking about that stuff in there, and then there you go. You get a little mini mistake, but I don't call it mistake though. I guess it's just part of fly time. A lot of the ones when you see them tying, they don't make a mistake on there, but I'm sure when they started, they made a lot of mistakes, and even still do when they're like tying in private. And me, I'm just like, if I make a mistake, I do. You're gonna see it. I don't really call it. I guess you wouldn't call that a mistake. You just call it like, hey, that piece just broke. That piece was like a little weak there. Yeah, it's pretty much all it is, and that can happen. And unwrap it. And luckily, I didn't glue this. Glue hasn't set yet. Makes it a little hard to get it when you try to unwind it. If the glue set, the little glue sets in there a little bit. It's all good though. It's all part of the fly tying game. I think K-Fish is on right now too, and Oregon Fishing or tying something. And I was gonna sit and watch it, and I was like, man, I never tie. I'm gonna just tie something because I had some things on my mind. Yeah, I was talking to. I think the guy's talking about the crisis thing. I was like, yeah, I did go through my own little crisis, but it's when the crisis is caused by other people, that's a different kind of game right there. Tell you what, that's when you know that's not fun, man. Or a crisis is caused a type of mental crisis caused by other people causing it to you, and it looks like you crazy, but you ain't. Yeah, it's not good. That's some of the most worst manipulation you can experience from people, from other human beings. And from someone outside looking in, they don't got nothing like that happen to them. They think, oh, what's wrong with them? They're like, what's wrong with that person? But I learned that that's not always the case. And I worked in a job where I used to pick people up literally from like the loony bin almost. And so I knew when I picked them up to take them home if they were truly loony or not. You could tell if there really was like something wrong. Like, and then they would have conversations in the vehicle or whatever vehicle I was driving to take them back, and then I would realize real quick if they were what I was told when I picked them up. They had. And I was like, yeah, this person doesn't have that. I was like, somebody did something to him. I was like, this is pretty obvious. People were like, they don't believe me. And I was like, I do. I do. The way you're explaining this situation, like, yeah, that was totally somebody was trying to make you look that way to discredit you or something. And that's unfortunate that those people had power over you because they had a powerful position. So they could do that to you. And there's people out there like that. We see it every day, right? People in powerful positions doing crazy things to people, and then the people who don't have a powerful position end up getting in trouble sometimes, and then the one in the powerful position don't get in trouble at all. They're sitting there in their mansion somewhere and not getting harassed really or nothing. And then we see some famous people getting harassed by acting weird too sometimes, and we don't understand what's going on. But if you pay attention, you notice that it's a little fishy. Okay, let's see. This time is our last chance on that. See, so that's why. So it's kind of good that I put the extra wrap in there, because otherwise, see, I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to do that. Let's see if we can get these sorted out. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. And so you can do these like this. Some people are like very, I hate to say the word anal about this. So like they wouldn't want this laying this way. They might want them all so they're swept back that way. Me, I don't. Since I'm putting two, they're gonna touch like this together and then go through. I don't. Sometimes I don't care about that flowing look, and sometimes I do, because sometimes it comes out different, and it's got a little weird different action to it. It's very slight, but it's good. It works. To me, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter to me how I put them in, just as long as they look good. So then we're gonna wrap these. Yeah, try not to. So it's a little tricky doing two at the same time, as you can see, especially with no hackle pliers. It's a little bit of a tricky endeavor to not, and also not to get them caught, the hackle caught underneath, if that makes sense, underneath itself here, so they all lay and spray out and palmer properly, if you look at it. And we only have a very specific amount, so we have to make it to the head of this jig. But we're good. We have enough. And you try not to tie down the other. But this is just basically like a cotton candy woolly bugger jig that I'm making right here. And I was like, you know what? I have those colors, but they're like blue and pink. Yeah, but if you just take your time, even if that little mistakes or something happens, you can see it come out really nice. You can make a really cool little thing, even though it's just pretty simple. So there you go. cotton candy, woolly bugger. It's got a, if I can get the camera to kind of go, yeah, there, you can kind of see it now. So that's a cotton candy, basically woolly bugger, but it's I think that's a Chinese, it's called. It's a strung Chinese saddle hackle fluorescent cerise, and then the other one is just a blue scalloping feather type of hackle. So it's a little bit more bigger actually and softer. But when you put them together, this is what you get when you wrap them two together. Comes out pretty neat. I'll probably have a picture up of it later. Let's see what the tail looks like. Sometimes I go like that and I'll pinch the tail so I can see. Trim those back a little bit. A little bit. I think it looks pretty good. And then we'll just finish tying it down and it's gonna be good ready for the glue. And obviously I've been tying lots of woolly buggers, so this is just the same thing. The only difference, and I've been tying the cone ones, earlier last week, I believe it was. So I'm gotten my stride on my palmer ring of the feathers now, because I just kept doing these and getting your timing down. If you keep doing those, then your timing gets kind of down, and they just get more and more efficient and easier to do. Even though I've tied them before, it's just like if you haven't tied them in a while or you haven't been palmering lots of feathers, you're like, sometimes you can kind of like, oh yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about that little thing about when you grab those feathers and try to wrap them like that. So we're gonna roll it over and looks pretty clean underneath too. It's got a very thin collar actually on it, very small collar on this fly. There's jig fly, very small collar. That's part of it too, learning how to make the collars of that thread how you want them, and then get everything tied down. Sometimes you have a big collar on it, sometimes you have a small, but as you get going, you start realizing the distance between there. And I just want enough so I can glue this right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but it's basically I think this one might be good for coho, maybe be worth a try because it's the coho colors and it's kind of offset with that blue. But I'm pretty sure pinks will grab it, of course, also because it's pink colored. They bite anything pink just about, and green. They like green too. I noticed I caught more male humpies, pink salmon on green. Weird little thing. I don't think people have. I don't know if it's a thing, but it seemed to be a thing to me. Out of all the years I fished them, if I put a green jig on, it seemed like I catch more male humpies if I use a fluorescent green jig than when I use a pink. When I use a pink one, I catch males and females, but it seemed like I catch more males if I use a green jig. Just a little weird thing. Someone else, you could probably experiment it with it. Somebody else, if you're listening and you fish for salmon, you could probably experiment and just check it and see if you get into humpies this year coming up in the fall, and just see like if this is true or not, or maybe it won't be true. I don't know, but it seemed like to me, maybe it's just me, or maybe it's just there was more male fish in that area. But it seemed like something green like that just seemed to catch more of these male pumpies for some reason. Like the fluorescent, I used to just make some fluorescent marabou green, all full green chartreuse ones, and they would catch a ton of male pumpies for some reason. Caught female ones too, but it just seemed like more male would bite that color. Don't know why. Don't know what the significance of that is. It just seemed that way. Just might have just been my imagination. I don't know, but it just seemed that way. I was like, every time I put a green jig on, it seemed like I catch more. All right. So first attempt at a cotton candy woolly bugger. I've never tied this color before ever, like in this style before, in this color. It looks freaking neat. It looks it's got a neat look to it. It's like, it's hard to see it because the lighting in here. Yeah, but if I put my hand, you can kind of see that blue, crazy hue in there too. Is it that crazy blues in there? Pretty neat little color to it. You know what? I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use my let's use the wire. We're gonna use this. Use the wire. Put some thinner on it. Get into that thread. Yeah, but I tied lots of these ones. But I've been kind of tying some trout stuff lately on the hyperlapse videos just because I was like, I want to do something else. And like tying nymphs and other stuff because it's just like, I don't just tie salmon jigs, I tie other stuff too. And you just tie that, and it's just like any. Well, I don't remember who that was, but he like messaged me and he was like, "Do you do anything other than just tie?" And I was just like laughing. I was like, "Where'd that come from?" And I was like, "Okay, bro." I was like, "I do." He's like, "You fish too?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, it's like obviously there's pictures of fish I caught on my channel. Like, just because I'm not going now, and I was like, nobody's gonna force me to go fishing when I'm not up to it, when I'm ready, that's like having the flu, and be like, go outside and hold and stand out there for 3 hours and let's see if you're okay. It's like, no, you're not, you know, it's like, no. Like you do your channel, I do mine. I don't bother you. I'm not sure what that comment was all about. I kind of do know where it came from, but I wasn't gonna entertain him. This is like he thought it was, and I was like not worried about it. I was like, "You're cool, man. I'm chilling, man." I was like, "I'm chilling, man." That looks pretty darn good. Hold on, let's see here. Didn't take too long to do that. I was just being very patient. I wanted it to come out good, even though we had a mini malfunction. Yeah. Nothing really you can, I can't really do nothing. The feather's a little softer there and it breaks. Oh, look like somebody got there. What'd they say? Okay. Weirdo. A weirdo came in here. Mm. People are weird, man. That's the other part about having a channel and tying anything. You sitting here tying something, somebody say something that's not even pertaining to. It's just like, what? Okay. All right, buddy. If you say so, buddy. Whatever you say, buddy. let's get this out the vise. And so, I don't know if you guys can see it. You can see all that blue inside there. Basically, it's a cotton candy color. Cotton candy humpy jig, basically, or coho jig. Pretty sure coho might take a look at it, just because that blue kind of added to it. I wish I had some blue for the tail, but the only blue I have for the tail would have been either putting a feather in there and letting it kind of hang back, or putting accents on the back, or it would have been putting rabbit hair, and I didn't want to mess up the action of it, so I didn't want to put any rabbit on this. And it came out right. I didn't want to put any rabbit on it. And then I think this is a 1/2 ounce. Got green. We can make what would that look good on? I'm thinking I have this other one color I haven't done before. Combination I wanted to do and see what it looked like for myself. That looks kind of like green. That might look cool too. Green, purple, green. I'm trying to think what that look like. Green, purple, and pink. Does that look all right? Green, purple, and pink, maybe. I'm trying to think. Green, purple, and pink. Maybe. What should we do? We could do. Okay. We got. I know I opened one already. It's a 3/8 ounce. Oh. It's like I know I opened a 3/8 ounce package here. All right. We'll try, I think, one more, and then I'm gonna call it a night. Been on for like an hour already. Doesn't even feel like it has been an hour at all. Doesn't feel like it's been an hour at all. I'm gonna tie a 3/8 ounce. This is gonna be this is gonna be like a rabbit hair one. That other one is a 1/4, but this is the 3/8 ounce. $3/8 I only fish with the 3/8 ounce. The one, actually I have 1/8, 1/4, 3/8 ounce, half. I almost never touch a what do you call it? I almost never touch the 1 ounce almost, or anything bigger. Almost never. When I do fish salmon jigs. Yeah, the world's kind of weird. Like human beings, man. It's difficult. It makes you kind of sad. Getting low on thread. Gonna have to break out the other thread here in a minute. On this one, maybe. We'll see. Getting close. That's the only thing about these ones. It takes a minute to because the call that weight, the lead right there is so kind of, it's got a bump to it. It takes a minute to get these jigs Get that thread on compared to the one I just did. Takes a wild minute to get the thread on. And it's because I'm only using 6/0, and I know I can get some heavier thread for this, but I use the thread I got. Usually I always tied with 6/0 thread, so that's what I use. I might start switching over to some like little thicker other type stuff that they got out there for this, but I've never had any problem fishing them or them falling apart on me when as long as I can glue them and get a good whip finish on it, or not a whip finish, but half hitches on it, or whip finish, either one, whatever you prefer. I've never had a problem. Every fly tire or jig tire, everybody has like their little thing that they don't like. Same thing with the little, when you tie the little trout flies. Some people just don't want to, they don't like it. Some people do. Some people enjoy those the most. Some people can't stand them. But I've had some days where I was like, I'm kind of irritated with this little fly too. And other days, I'm like, nah, this is okay. This is gonna be black, green. Yeah, let's use this green. We're gonna use like chartreuse. And then I gotta decide between these two blues. There's two different blues over here. I'm trying to decide between these two blues. I don't know which blue would look better. Let's take one out. There's like this blue. I don't know. Those two blues, it's kind of like Seahawks. That's like the Seahawks blue, kind of. Does that look better together? Or will this look better? And then I have this. I'm gonna take a look at this one too. Then this. Let's get all three out and see. We got that blue. So we got that kind of blue. It's kind of like Seattle Seahawks color, kind of. But then we got this kind of blue. It's kind of similar, but it's a little lighter. Not sure. Kind of looks good. And then there's people are weird. People. Another thing that's crazy about people, they assume stuff they don't realize. Some people, I guess it's crazy. Like, some people got the same name as somebody else, and somebody else did so, and then like people don't know what people's stories are and stuff. It's just crazy. And there's that kind of, I don't know. It's like, that's like steelhead blue. And it doesn't have any bars. And then there's this kind of blue, and it's like darker. Let's just switch them around. Let's see if this looks better together. Plains, that blue. It's like old Seahawks blue. This is like the new school blue. That's like the new school blue with the bars on it. Yeah. I don't know. This one's more plain looking. I don't know. I can't decide. What do you guys think? Just three in the chat. They look like. What do you think? Which one? This side or this right side or left side? I don't know. This one's like a baby blue. In the light, it looks like they're the same, but they're not. This is like a dark. This is like a really dark blue, this one, compared to this one over here. Decisions. Let's go with the. Let's just go with this. Let's go with the plain looking one. See how that. Let's go with the plain blue. We'll go with the plain, the steelhead blue. Yeah, it's steely blue. It's called. So we're gonna do one that's steely blue, and then it's just a red and chartreuse. I'm just trying to think what tail to make. So what's the other color? What's the other color on there that would match with that? Purple? Like the tail. Kind of make the tail of this thing. Let me see. Yeah, that's. I think that. Yeah, we'll do the. All right, we'll do the tail and. Could wrap it too. Do the tail in purple. Yeah, we'll do the tail in purple then. Fuzzy hair getting over here. We'll do the tail in purple. Tail in purple. Hey, what's up, man? We're tying almost like a Seahawks colored twitcher, and we already tied a. It's kind of like a. If you look at it, it's like a woolly bugger, but it's got a. It's like cotton candy woolen bugger, but like a kind of like a blue palmered hackle in there. And then it's got blue, like a purple, blue, flashy blue in there. It's hard to tell with this lighting, but it's in there. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's not a problem. You can always, check it out later on if you don't, you can hang out. I'm not gonna be mad at you. People got things to do. Gotta do your work. Gotta fix this one. You gotta kind of do like that to fix that. These kind of strips do that, and I had fixed this one yesterday. This was the one I fixed on the little short video. It was just twisting and it was doing weird stuff and makes it hard to tie when they're like that. All right. You know me, I'm always bouncing around, running around. I pop up everywhere in the chats everywhere, just hanging out, enjoying folks fishing, enjoying just chatting with people. Don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Fortunately, there's people out there monitoring spirits and it's all good. So there's the tail. Let's see how long we want to make that. Yeah, about the same size as the length of it, right? Yeah. One guy was telling me, he's like, cut these. He said he likes to cut these. So I'm going to cut this on this one for once. He actually likes to angle the tail. He said make it flow better. I was like, really? So